Hello, everyone. Good morning or afternoon, depending on where you're watching us today. I want to welcome you to the College Tracker Show. I'm going to be your host today, Kimberly Bass. I'm filling in for Victoria Allen. She's normally the host, but today you get me. And also today, we have an outstanding group of individuals with us from Nova Southeastern University, and they're going to share some information about their school. But before we hear from Nova, let's do a little bit of housekeeping. If you are with us on Zoom today and you have any questions, be sure to drop those questions in the Q&A box so we can get your questions answered. If you're watching from Facebook, YouTube, or live stream anywhere else, just drop your questions in the chat box or comments, and they'll be sent over to me so we can get your questions answered. Now, all housekeeping's out of the way. Let's get right in and let's look at who we're going to be talking to today from NSU. So from admissions today, we have Rachel. Rachel, you want to say something to us today?
Sure. Hi, my name is Rachel, and I'm one of the admissions counselors at NSU, and I do work specifically with international students.
Absolutely great to have you with us today, Rachel. And today with us, we also have Coach Douglas. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And lastly, we have with us today student athlete Eva. How are you today, Eva?
Hi, I'm good. Thank you so much for having me here too.
Excellent. So we are glad to have all of you here with us today. And first, we're going to hear a little bit from Rachel in admissions. So Rachel, I think you have a little bit of information to share with us. I'm going to hand it over to you.
Yes, I'll start sharing my screen in just a moment. Sorry, I had the other one pulled up. But as I mentioned before, my name is Rachel, and I am one of three international admissions counselors that we have here at NSU. And I also have my colleague Shelby, who will also work with a lot of students from Canada as well. So here I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so that you guys are able to follow along with me. Okay. So here you can see my colleague Shelby, who also works with students from Canada, and then I work with some students from there as well. In addition to these sessions that we host, we have a lot of other virtual sessions that you can sign up for to learn about our academic departments if you go to nova.edu/visit campus. At NSU, we have around 6,600 undergraduate students, which makes us a mid-size university. And having this relatively small size means that we're able to maintain an average classroom size of just 17 students, which is really important because this allows you to get to know your professors really well, and it also allows them to get to know you. In addition to the support you'll receive from your professors, you'll also have a dedicated academic and career coach combined into one that'll be there to help you choose your classes throughout your 4 years and look for different professional development opportunities. We do also have a lot of opportunities for students to participate in research with over 150 different research projects going on at any given time on campus. And we really value diversity at NSU as well. So we have alumni from all 50 states and over 115 different countries. At NSU, there are a lot of different areas of study that you can choose from, with over 50 majors split between 9 different academic departments. So whether you're interested in the sciences, business, education, psychology, or even technology, chances are we have something for you. And I do see some questions are popping up in the question and answer feature, which is wonderful. It's a little hard for me to do both at the same time, but feel free to continue leaving those and I'll start addressing them towards the end. So outside of the quality education that you'll get in the classroom, we have all of our students participate in experiential education and learning, which encourages our students to get hands-on experience while they're here at NSU. So students can do this through studying abroad, which allows them to take coursework at a foreign institution and then bring those back to NSU. Students can also look for different career development opportunities, such as shadowing experiences or internships. And this is where you really want to take advantage of those connections that you have with your advisor and with faculty in your department, because they can help you find those opportunities that you maybe wouldn't know of otherwise. Students also should look for different opportunities to participate in research. We always have faculty that are looking for undergraduate students to join their lab groups or assist them with research projects that they're working on. We do also have a program called the Student Success Scholars Program, which helps students with the transition from high school into university. And this allows you to have a peer mentor. So it's a second or third year student who's already comfortable at NSU and can help you adapt as well. So in addition to that program, we do have some other programs that students can apply to participate in. We have our Honors College, which is just one of just 200 that are available in the United States. And one of the best benefits of this program is that the average classroom size in those courses is just 8 students. So you have an even closer connection with faculty and with the other students in those courses as well. And being a part of this Honors College also gives students access to different academic and career related opportunities that aren't open to the university as a whole. We also have the Razor's Edge Scholars Program, which is a great opportunity for students who would like to live on campus for all 4 years, because students in this program live and learn together throughout their time at NSU. In addition to whichever major you choose to study, you would have one of 5 different academic interests, which would be a minor. Global is a great option for students who have an interest in international affairs. Research is for students who want to ensure that they're taking coursework about research methods and incorporating their own research projects in their undergraduate careers. Leadership is for students who are really involved in their schools and communities and want to continue to develop those leadership abilities as a student at NSU. Shark Talent is great for students who have an interest in the visual and performing arts, and Shark Teach is for students who want to pursue a career in education. Another opportunity that we have is dual admission. So through this program, students are able to interview to potentially reserve a spot for themselves in one of our graduate level programs. Our most popular programs are definitely in the healthcare professions, such as osteopathic medicine, dentistry, physician's assistant, and occupational and physical therapy. But we do also have a variety of other programs that students can choose from, including pharmacy, law, psychology, all at the doctoral level. And then we have a wide variety of masters in other fields as well, including marine science and data science. Another program that we have is the Fischler Academy. This is designed specifically for students who want to pursue a career in teaching. Through this program, students will earn a bachelor's degree and a master's in education in just 4 years. It does come with 1 free international travel experience, and they do provide help in finding a job placement after graduation. The Huizenga Business Innovation Academy is a similar program, but it's specifically for students who are interested in business. It's another accelerated program that allows students to earn a bachelor's degree in one of our business majors and a master's in business administration in just 4 years. And students in this program actually get to run a business on campus towards the end of their bachelor's degree. Right now, we have around 15 different student businesses that are operating here on campus. In a wide variety of areas. So some are related to food, some have services like a beauty salon, photography, some of them have like care kits. So there's a lot of really creative business ideas that are happening and operating right here on campus. So if you are a business major, this is a really great opportunity to get that hands-on experience while you're still in school. And even if you have absolutely no interest in business, you still benefit from this program because there are a lot of really creative business ideas that you can take advantage of and support without even having to leave NSU's campus. So if you are interested in any of these programs, the first step to be able to be considered would be to submit your general application to NSU for whichever major you're interested in studying. Once you've submitted that, I would recommend submitting the Supplemental Premier Programs application right away. This application in step 2 is where you would indicate which premier programs you're interested in. Once we're able to review both of those applications, our Shark Preview team will invite you to a Shark Preview weekend where you'll be able to interview for a spot in the program or programs that you applied to. So here we have the first dates announced for Shark Preview weekend. Most of these are going to be in person, but we do have one weekend at the very end of January that is specifically for international students who live very far from the state of Florida. So if you would like to visit campus in person at some point, I would highly recommend doing it at one of our in-person Shark Preview weekends. But if it is a little bit too far for you to travel, you can opt to participate virtually. And whether you participate in Shark Preview weekend virtually or in person, you'll get to meet all of the other students that are interviewing that weekend, and you'll also get to meet current students and faculty as well. So these weekends are a really great opportunity for you to determine if NSU is a good fit for you or not. When students are here on campus, there are a lot of really great amenities that they can take advantage of. We have Shark dining options in almost all of our academic buildings, and our main cafeteria is located in the Student Center. To help students feel a little bit more at home in our residence halls, we have some common spaces available, including TV and game rooms, community kitchens, and study lounges. So here you can see some of the residence options that we have available for incoming first-year students. All of them include utilities, Wi-Fi, cable, and laundry. And here on this side, you can see those floor plans. So Leo Goodwin is a more traditional style dorm that has 2 or 3 students per room. And the bathroom for those students is located right inside that room as well. Another housing option that we have is the Commons, which is a suite style dorm. So as you can see, there are 4 rooms that share the 2 bathrooms that are inside that suite. Most of these rooms will be a single room, but one of the rooms is a little bit larger than the others, and so that one can accommodate 2 or 3 students. This residence hall is traditionally reserved first for our Razor's Edge students and then the students in the 2 academies. But part of the building is available for other students as well. This year, we also had the Cultural Living Center open for first-year students. This is an apartment style dorm that has 1 or 2 bedrooms. And it has 1 bathroom for each bedroom, and then a common area that includes like a living room and kitchen as well. These rooms can have 1 or 2 students per room, but this year, due to the number of students that we had wanting to live on campus, most of these rooms had 2 students rather than just 1. Outside of residential life, there are a lot of ways for students to be involved on campus, including our Division II athletic teams. So whether you are on one of those teams or not, you can either play on that team in the games, or you can plan to go watch the games with your friends and maybe support other student athlete friends that you have. Outside of athletics, we have over 150 different student clubs and organizations that students can be involved in on campus. So whether you're interested in volunteering and joining some sort of cultural or religious organization or getting involved in Greek life, there's some sort of club that would most likely appeal to you. So our campus's location in South Florida is just 15 to 20 minutes from the city of Fort Lauderdale, from the Fort Lauderdale beaches, and from the Fort Lauderdale airport. And our city and campus location is located right in between West Palm Beach and Miami. So since we're located right in the middle of a large urban area, there are a lot of things for you to do in your free time, and whether it's just for fun or whether you're looking for internship or volunteer opportunities. If you have a little more time on the weekend, you could head all the way down to the Florida Keys or up to Orlando, which is 3 hours away. Here you can see the academic profile from this past fall. We had around 17,000 students that applied, and then 1,750 first-year students that joined us here on campus. out of those students, around half of them came from the state of Florida, around 40 came from out of state, and 7% of those were international students. And as far as academics goes, you can see that most of them had the equivalent of an A- or a B+ GPA. For most students from Canada, that would be somewhere around a 70 average or higher. And then for students who did decide to submit the SAT or ACT scores, you can see what the mid ranges of those were here. So around half of our students fell inside this range, around a fourth were below, and then around a fourth were above those scores. And in addition to the first year students that joined us on campus, we also had around 500 transfer students. So for the application process, here I have the process for first year students and for transfer students. For both, our deadlines are the same. The early deadline of November 1st already passed, but our regular decision deadline is February 1st, so you still have time to apply. Even though the deadline isn't until February 1st, I would still recommend submitting your application right away because we do review applications as we receive them once we have all the required documents. In Canada, since you are native speakers of English, you don't need to submit any additional proof of English proficiency. So that's one requirement for some international students that wouldn't apply to you. Whether you're a first year or a transfer student, you can apply through the Shark Select application, which is on NSU's website, or through the Common App, which is a page that you can use to apply to multiple US universities at the same time. If you are a first year student, you would need to submit your high school transcript. And then if you indicate on the application that you want to submit the SAT or ACT, you should submit that as well. But since we're test optional, it's up to you if you would like to submit those or not. In Canada, there aren't any applicable national exams. So really the only documents that you would need to worry about for academics would be your high school transcript and then the SAT or ACT if you choose to submit it. Other than the academic documents, I would also recommend submitting at least one letter of recommendation, and then the essay is optional, but it does allow us to get to know you beyond just your academics. For transfer students, if you're currently attending another US university, we would just need the transcript from that school. If you're at a university in Canada, we would need a credential evaluation of your university transcript through NACIS. And if you have less than 24 credits or 1 year of full-time study completed at the time of application, we will still need to see your high school documents as well. And then if you are a transfer student, you should submit the transfer report just so that your institution can confirm that you don't have any issues and that you should be able to transfer without any problems. And then the essay for transfer students is optional as well. There could potentially be some additional aid that you might qualify for. So if you're a US citizen who is living in Canada, you should apply for the free application for federal student aid, because that is available for US citizens regardless of where they live. If you plan to come to the US with an I-20, then this wouldn't apply to you. And then the Florida state aid application would only be for students who are living in Florida with their family. So if you all are living in Canada, then Florida state aid wouldn't apply in your situation. As I mentioned before, you should submit the Premier Program application once you have submitted your general application to NSU, and then you can attend a Shark Preview weekend to interview for a spot in that program. 2 weeks after your interview date, you would find out if you're offered a spot in those Premier programs or not. In the United States, May 1st is the national decision deadline, so you would need to make your final college decision by that date. And in order to make that final decision, you would submit a $200 enrollment deposit to confirm that you plan to attend NSU. Once you've submitted that deposit, you can work with our Office of International Affairs to get your I-20 form. And if you are a Canadian citizen, you don't need to actually get the visa. With the I-20 form in your passport, you would be able to enter as a student. So here we have a big picture of the financial information. We are still waiting on the updated cost of attendance for fall of 2023. But with these amounts from the fall of 2022, you get a general idea of what the cost would be. So tuition was $34,500, and then the average cost of room and board was around $11,000. But that cost will vary depending on the housing option that you have. So if you are in your own individual room, that would cost more. If you're sharing a room with 2 other students, that would cost less. And all of our students are automatically considered for our Dean's Scholarship. So this ranges from $10,000 to $20,000 per year, and it depends on your academics. So the higher your grades are, the higher amount of that scholarship you would most likely get. If you apply for one of our premier programs and are then offered a spot in that program, that scholarship would replace the Dean Scholarship that you would have originally been offered. So if you are originally accepted to NSU with a scholarship of $15,000, but then you get a spot in our Razor's Edge Scholars program, you would have $24,000 per year instead of the $15,000. And then we do also have a Presidential Scholars program, which is for full tuition. We typically invite the top 10% of our applicant pool to interview for this scholarship. We have started inviting students to interview for this already. So if you know that you have really high academics and you want to have a chance to be invited, the sooner you apply to attend NSU, the better. And students who are invited to interview for the Presidential Scholars Program would do that at one of our Shark Preview weekends as well. I'm guessing most of you probably are not living in the state of Florida, so I'm going to skip over the part about aid for Florida residents. And then just one last reminder, if you are a U.S. citizen living in Canada, make sure you apply for the FAFSA as soon as possible, because you should be eligible as a U.S. citizen. So this is the end of the admissions portion of the presentation. We encourage you to stay connected with us on social media. We have Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook pages where you can find more information and helpful resources. So I'll go ahead and stop sharing my screen so that Kimberly can take back over.
Rachel, thank you for sharing all that wonderful admissions information. We do have one question for you that came in. Yeah, and it came from Eric. Eric's question was, do you have anything in the BYO medical field?
Yeah. What is BYO?
I think it Eric is on. Can you throw in chat? I was trying to do some Google searching, but I'm pretty sure that it has to do with mobile devices and healthcare. That's what I was finding from my search. But we'll get Eric to dump in some additional information if Eric's still on with us. But that was his question.
Okay. I'm not sure about something related specifically to medical devices. But we do have several majors that are intended to prepare students for medical school or other graduate level programs in the health profession. So we have the traditional options like biology, chemistry, and neuroscience, but we do actually have some majors that are housed in our College of Osteopathic Medicine, including public health and health informatics. So the benefit of those last 2 majors is that they still include all of the science courses you need to get into medical school, but they also include other courses related to the healthcare system, public health, and other topics related to that field in general. And the professors in that specific major also teach in our medical school. So you have a much closer connection with our medical school as an undergraduate student if you're in one of those programs.
Gotcha. And it looks like Eric clarified that no, that's not what it is, that it's not the bring your own device. But thank you for filling that in. Let's get Eric to kind of talk a little bit about what he's looking for. Eric, you wanna unmute and ask your question?
Hi, how are you?
Great.
Good,
Thanks
how
for
about
joining
you?
us today.
Good, nice to join you. I'm actually doing this for my daughter, and she's looking to get into the biomedical field, the sciences, study viruses and all that kind of stuff. That's what she's into.
Can you clarify what the BYO stands for?
Biomedical.
Oh, biomedical.
Ah,
Okay. Yeah, so all of those majors that I had described before are great for preparing students either for professional, like graduate professional degrees, like osteopathic medicine, allopathic medicine, or any of those other health professions, or for a career in research if she wants to go that route.
All right.
outstanding. Thanks so much for joining us again, Eric. And thanks, Rachel, for answering that question. We have one more question from Rick. Rick's question is, what is the GPA required for maximum financial aid?
So it really depends because when we put a student's academic information in the system determines what level of scholarship the student is eligible for. And so it depends on if a student is submitting their test scores or not, or if they're just being considered with their high school information. So the best way to find out exactly what scholarship amount a student is able to get from the Office of Admissions would be to submit the application, because as soon as a student receives an acceptance letter from NSU, they also know what amount of that dean's scholarship they get. Because it'll be right there in the acceptance letter, like, congratulations, you've been accepted for fall 2023, and we're able to offer you this amount of our dean's scholarship.
Great. And also, Rick had some additional pieces to his question. He wanted to know, for lacrosse, do you combine athletic scholarships with financial aid to get full tuition?
So I know that academic and athletic scholarships can be combined, but Coach, I don't know if you want to expand a little bit more on that, because I don't have much information about the athletic scholarships.
Yeah, well, coming from tennis here, obviously we're a different sport, but yes, just as you stated there too, you can combine academic with athletic money, but it just all depends on the lacrosse budget. I don't know what their budget is, and then will it cover the entire cost of tuition? That's just up to I know lacrosse is different. I think to be fully funded in lacrosse, I think it's like 8 or 9 full scholarships that they can divide up anyway. So it just all depends on the level of player and what the coach is willing to give for that player. But yes, it's absolutely a possibility that it can cover all of tuition.
Excellent. Thank you, Coach Douglas. Thank you for sharing that. And I think those are all the questions that we have for you, Rachel. Yep, those are all questions that we have. So thank you again for sharing all that admissions information. And
Yeah, of course.
Outstanding. Now we're going to pop over to one of our student athletes from NSU. Today we have with us Eva. How are you doing today, Eva?
I'm doing really well. How are you?
Good. So Eva, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us what sports you play, just a little bit about you.
Yeah, so I'm on the women's tennis team at NSU. I'm currently a sophomore, and I'm originally from Toronto, Canada. So it's definitely warmer here. Like a lot of you, I grew up in the cold. And that's, I think, one of the best parts of studying here in Florida. It's definitely the weather.
Outstanding. So you chose to go to Florida. Outstanding. Can you tell us about your journey from high school to your current role now at NSU?
Yeah, so I started playing tennis when I was like 4 or 5, and then I took it seriously when I was 9, but kind of zoning it down into kind of studying in the States. I was in 8th, 9th grade. I really wanted to pursue that, and sports, tennis, whatever sport you play can open up the doors to study and compete in the United States, which is a great opportunity. Academically, I started, studying for the SAT because at the time before COVID, a lot of the institutions had it mandatory, put the SAT even as a student athlete. So I started studying in about 9th grade, took it my 10th grade, and was going to retake it in my 11th grade. So as a junior, they canceled that because of COVID. And I also took a few AP exams. Being a student athlete, it's not just about being an athlete. It's, student comes first, and really focus on the academic side of it. And athletically, I looked into different schools, and I ranked them kind of in 4 different criteria: athletics, academics, location, and team culture. And, Nova was really great with that. And I'm having a great time here, my freshman and sophomore year. And also another thing that kind of was a big thing was COVID. It was kind of a rocky hill there. My junior and senior year were practically all virtual. So it's kind of difficult to figure out a way to train and compete with that. But it's all about, figuring a way to continue improving. So maybe not on the court, but fitness was there. But yeah, all ended up good. And yeah.
Outstanding. I like that you came up with your own criteria, the 4 things. I think you said athletics, academics, location, and team culture. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's
Great.
right.
That's great. Now, when you described to us, of course, I'm sure COVID was a challenge, but were there any other challenges that you faced transitioning from high school to NSU? And if so, how did you overcome them?
Yeah, so college is very different from high school in terms of, it's a very, like in high school, you have teachers to kind of show you the way and what to do. In college, it's, you're by yourself. You got to take, responsibility for your own actions. And in terms of, you have to study, it's a responsibility you have to take on by yourself. I think all the challenges that I kind of had was kind of based around COVID. That was difficult because junior and senior year, I was also already kind of learning by myself. That kind of prepared me for university in terms of like taking responsibility for, if I want to excel at a course, I need to put the time in. But also, having the challenge was figuring out a place to train. In Canada, everything was shut down. It was really bad. We didn't really, there was a point in time when I'd be going out and hitting against the wall and it was snowing outside. So it was definitely crazy. But that also was a way to kind of teach myself to come up with ways to overcome challenges. So it was difficult, but everything worked out. So yeah.
Love it. I love to hear that you were able to be resourceful and you just made it happen. Now, talk to us about a typical day for you as a student athlete. What does a typical day look like for you?
Well, it's definitely busy. So being a student athlete comes with a lot of responsibilities in terms of classes. Sometimes you have study hall hours as a freshman and sophomore. You usually have that requirement. And so usually I wake up and it kind of depends on the semester and what the schedule looks like academically. So I wake up in the morning, go to class at around, if I have a class at 8 or 9 a.m. And then coach kind of set up practices for us in advance so we kind of can schedule our classes around that. And, we typically have, at least this semester, we had practices in the afternoon and also weights and fitness. So from about 12:30 to 3:30, there's the training block with that. And then we've kind of finished athletically at around 3:30. And we have our own time, whether, a lot of us girls are graduate students as well. So maybe some of us have classes later in the evening. Personally, I have this semester I had 2 or 3 classes in the evening. So I would come back from practice, shower, change, rest, or do some homework, and then go back to class. So yeah.
Wow, Eva. Wow. You are packing a lot into that day. Now, for other student athletes that are out there maybe watching today, what would you recommend to them from a standpoint of planning and time management? What would you suggest that they start to adopt early so that they're able to be a successful student athlete at NSU?
Yeah, so definitely plan in advance. There are a lot of applications on your phone that you could use. I personally use Google Calendar. I love it because you can link it to your Google account and stuff like that. And it really gives you a visualization of your day. So I have everything kind of put in. So if I enroll for classes, I put that in, 2, 3, 4 months, it's like you can put in Monday, Wednesday, Friday class, and it kind of is like a consistent thing. And if you want to, have something else, say you want to get lunch with your friends sometime next week, you can look at your schedule and see, oh, I'm free on Thursday at 12 o'clock. you can have that. And that really helped me in college. A lot of, your parents might say, put that in your calendar. You don't really want to be carrying around like a book everywhere you go. And, I have my phone with me. I'm sure all of you guys do as well. And that's just, super simple. It gives you notifications in advance. So yeah, definitely get a calendar on your phone.
Oh, look at that. You heard it straight from Eva. Get a calendar on your phone. Love it. Now, Eva, there are a few questions from our audience. So let's dive in. First, we have a question from Rick. Rick asked, Eva, do you need to register with the NCAA to be eligible to play in college? And how and when should that be done?
So with me, I kind of had like guidance from Coach Doug. So he told me when and how to register for the NCAA. I think that was about 2 years ago now. So I think that's how it works. Coach, is that right?
Yeah, yep. Everybody has to register with the NCAA Eligibility Center. It used to be called the Clearinghouse, but it's just the NCAA Eligibility Center, and you could do it as early as right after your sophomore year in high school. So and then you'll get a number, and you're always asked for that NCAA ID number.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's that's where they check on all the players, the student athletes, amateurism, transcripts, their eligibility, and different things like that.
All right. And it looks like Rick is right on target for that. He said that he's in 11th grade in British Columbia, Canada. Outstanding.
Great. Good luck, Rick.
We had one other question for you. Do athletes sport to sport get together, and how do they connect with non-sport students?
Yeah, so I think at Nova personally, I'm having a great experience in terms of having a good relationship, not just with my teammates, but all sports. My freshman year, I had three roommates. One was from basketball, soccer, and softball. So you get together with other teams, and it's great. And then there's a lot of sport events. And sometimes athletics would say, hey, like on Sunday, basketball has a whiteout game. So all the student athletes would come in wearing all white, and then they would invite, their other students or student athletes to come in and join them. And it's a great experience because you get closer, not just with other student athletes, but with other students. You're enjoying your time and supporting the team.
That sounds great. Sounds like a great way to come together, get to know each other. I love the whiteout.
Sure.
That would be fun. Well, thank you, Eva. Thank you for joining us and sharing your experience at NSU. And we wish you all the best as you continue your schooling.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Now we get to hear from the men with all the questions. We get to hear, with all the answers, better yet, not all the questions, but we do have some questions for you already, Coach Doug, when we get to those. But Introduce yourself and tell us a little about your role at NSU.
Okay, so my name is Doug Nagel, and I'm the head women's tennis coach here at NSU, and I'm starting my 7th season. So, all of us coaches go by seasons. I don't say years. This is my 7th season. I'm originally from Maryland. So as Yeva said, I really enjoy, especially this time of year, I enjoy the weather. I don't miss the gray skies and the cold, but I do miss fall. My wife is from Boston, and we always say we miss fall, but when winter comes, there's really no other place that I'd rather be. It's beautiful.
I bet. I'm in Dallas right now. It's rainy, storming, nothing like you probably have sunny in Florida.
Yeah. I just got back from Boston, and it was funny. We were at the airport, and it was freezing getting on the jetway. Then we got off here. We're like, this is nice.
So, question for you. So, in your professional advice for student athletes from Canada that are interested in promoting themselves to NSU, how do they go about doing that? How do they go about promoting themselves to coaches?
Yeah, I mean, one of the best ways to do is early on, as soon as you can, start emailing the coach early and often, and then make sure you don't just email them once, especially if you're really interested in it. Keep updating them on your results. Keep updating on how you're doing. And then another good thing to do too is, and it's so easy now for these kids, or I shouldn't say kids, for these student athletes. potential student athletes is to reach out to the current players also, because then the current players they'll tell the coach, hey coach, this prospective student athlete reached out to me and they seem nice. But not only that, it'll be great for the kid that's interested in coming here, because the current athletes that are on the roster, whatever team it might be here, they're going to tell you all the truths about the school, the college, the area, and everything. But then also the coach really knows that you're serious.
Gotcha. So email and get to know an athlete that's already there and kind of get them to be an ally or advocate for you.
Sure. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So you did mention email as a way to connect with coaches. I know that coaches get a lot of emails. So how do you send emails to make your emails stand out? And what should you include in those emails?
I'm a big believer in keeping emails short and to the point. Like if we see a long drawn out email, just like all of us, you're kind of like, oh boy, here we go. But number one is make sure it's you, the actual student athlete emailing. It's a lot better than coming from the parent. Make sure. I like to keep it personal too. Like my last name is Nagel. Say, hey, Coach Nagel, or I'm interested in NSU, because a lot of times you can just tell if it's just a cut and paste and they just emailed, 100 different coaches. Make sure you know the program. We do not have a men's tennis team here. And I can't count how many emails I get. Like, hey, your men's tennis team is great. I'm like, news to me. We haven't lost a match, because we don't have a team. So I guess we are pretty good. But I'd say little things like that, make it personal, let them know that that it's really NSU you're emailing, and don't start out the first line by saying I want a full scholarship, because we'll get those too. So if you just keep it short to the point, if you can attach a video right away of your most of us coaches, I think in all of our sports too, we love to see actual competition and not just the camera. Like for tennis, a lot of times it'll be the camera just on the player hitting and you can't even see where the ball is going. In practice. So if it's, if you can actually get game type situation, that would be awesome.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Some of those where do it yourself, don't have your parents doing it, make it personalized, include video that shows competition. Those are some good things that you should really include in your email. Now, can you share with us the academic resources available to student athletes?
Yeah, our academic support here is phenomenal. I was fortunate, and I coached in Division I for 9 years, and here at NSU for Division II. And I always say, like, we run it like a Division I athletic department, because the resources we have a few full-time support staff in our athletics academic support, along with even a couple of grad assistants there also. And they provide us with study hall hours that are mandatory for all incoming freshmen and transfers. But down there too in their department, they have so many resources. They have tutors for you. They do a lot of networking and a lot of different activities that they'll make available just for student athletes, which is phenomenal. It just gives a lot of opportunity for these student athletes.
Gotcha. So we got study hall, we've got tutors, running it like a D1, just making sure that those athletes have those resources available to them.
Yeah, a lot of tutors, they put that at their disposal. So we're very fortunate here.
Great. Now you did mention in the email, the first thing not to do is to say, hey, I want a full scholarship. But if you are interested in looking for a scholarship, what do you need to do to really qualify for those athletic scholarships?
I always say, and Yeva can she gets tired of all my cliche sayings, but they're cliche because I say them a lot and I mean it. But one way to do it is obviously we're looking for talented and strong athletes, but me personally, like I'm looking at athletes that elevate others, and I think if you start doing that early at a young age, if you're elevating others, I think you can get to the top, you can earn that scholarship, and you can probably stay at the top. If you only worry about yourself, it's you might get to the top, but I don't think you're going to stay there. And I don't know if you're going to go past high school. The percentages are low for people to play anything past high school. So try to elevate your teammates, whether you're in an individual sport or not. If you elevate others, and that's in all facets of life, I think you can really benefit from it yourself.
Yeah. Agreed. There it is, elevating others. Now, are there any academic criteria tied to maintaining your scholarship, keeping it?
Yeah, if you if you deem yourself ineligible, if you academically, you can surely lose your scholarship. Um, Scholarships are they're year to year, and I don't really reduce scholarships. That's really up to me to try to really do my homework and do the research on the athletes that I'm recruiting. But if you're if you go academically ineligible, yes, you can absolutely lose your scholarship.
Gotcha. Now, how do scholarship renewals work?
Yes, they are year to year. Most coaches, they don't reduce them. And student athletes, they have the right to not protest. What's the word I'm looking for? But they can put in a protest for it too, and try to keep that scholarship. Sometimes scholarships aren't taken away or reduced unless like you're violating rule after rule, you're getting in trouble with the law, you're ineligible academically, different things like that.
Gotcha. We have a host of questions for you in the Q&A. Let's get through those. We have Tony, and Tony asks, how much of your baseball program is dedicated to development rather than their current capabilities?
That would be a question for the baseball coach. I wish I could answer that for you. All of us coaches, speaking for me, obviously we try to get all of our players better. We try to get them better as athletes, and we try to get better as people, try to prepare them for life. It's, a low percentage of athletes get, move on from college, especially playing in the pros. I do know here we have quite a few baseball players every year that go into the professional ranks. I mean, speaking from my head, I know a couple of current major leaguers. JD Martinez, one of the best hitters in baseball, plays for the Red Sox. He played on baseball here. Miles Makakos, I think I always say his name wrong, but he's an all-star pitcher for the St. Louis Cardinals. He played here. There's another guy in the actual major leagues right now too. So.
Oh, that's great. You answered another question Tony had. He had that exact question, and you answered it and actually gave him the actual players.
Oh, well, good.
He did have another question. It's baseball related. You may or may not know, but we'll go ahead and ask. His question was, what are your needs for your baseball program for 2024, 2025? Are you looking for pitchers and middle infielders for any or both of those seasons?
That would absolutely be a question for baseball.
Yes, definitely a time to shoot an email over and kind of get those questions answered, Tony.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's move on to Mike. Mike says, my son is an uncommitted 2023 baseball student athlete. What's the best way to start the recruitment with the coaches, and what information should we provide to kickstart the conversation?
Yeah, I can't speak for the actual baseball coaches, but I know Laz, the head coach, I know when he was, if your son's a pitcher, he was saying, if you send a video, make sure you send a video of different angles, not just from behind the plate, but also from the side. But he pretty much was right on par with what I said, because my brother's actually a baseball coach, and he was asking about a couple of different players. He said, yeah, make sure to keep the emails short to the point, and attach some videos, and especially if you have any actual game footage. I know they're pretty far along in their recruiting process for the year, so I don't know how many spots that they have, but definitely, especially if it comes from your son, but have your son email both. I always say email everybody on the staff, email both coaches right away.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much on that. Mike has another question. What's the best way to start the recruitment with coaches, and what information should you provide to kickstart the conversation? I think we just answered that.
Yeah.
That's repeat. All right.
And request, try to ask the coach if you can set up a either a Zoom, a FaceTime, or something as fast as you can. So.
Absolutely. So Rick has a question. I graduated in 2024 from high school. I know lacrosse is a new program and doesn't start until 2024, 2025. He's done his research. Do you know when the new coach will be hired for recruiting purposes?
That's a good question. I know they're in the process of looking already, and I know they want to have a coach in here, I think by later on in the spring semester, or as we call it here, the winter semester. So I'm thinking by the end of this semester, I know they're going to really take their time and do the due diligence and try to hire the best person here. But we're all really excited about lacrosse, and I'm I'm from Maryland, so that's a huge lacrosse area. So I'm excited to get lacrosse down. I think it's going to be great for a school. But I think that new coach will be hired probably within the next couple months because they need to start getting on that recruiting trail real soon.
Great, great. Last question from Eric, and that question is, do the coaches search the NCSA website for prospects?
Yeah, we do. I don't know about other coaches, but we do. And I know most of the time I'm not going on their site and searching, but we get emails from them, or I do at least constantly. And I always look at every profile that they send me. So it's good. I think that site is good because it gives a lot of pertinent and good info on there on each student athlete.
Absolutely. Well, Coach Doug, thank you for taking time out to come and talk to our audience today. We appreciate your feedback. I think that you've done a great job preparing student athletes for the showing up on campus at NSU and applying to be a student athlete at your campus. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, if you're here with us in the Zoom, be sure to check out chat because we have included emails for Rachel as well as Coach Doug if you would like to reach out to them if you have any questions about NSU that you would like addressed. And we definitely appreciate your time with us here today on the College Tracker Show. And we look forward to seeing you on our next show with our next goal. Thank you and have a great day.